As an academy owner, you work hard to build trust with your students, their parents, and your community. But trust isn't something you claim, it's something you prove and earn. That's where Academy Safe comes in. We help academies like yours stand out with verified safety standards. Background checks for all staff, U.S. Center for Safe Sports certification, concussion training, defibrillators on site, CPR, first aid and AED certification, security cameras, rank and lineage checks, and verification of business insurance. Join the trusted martial arts registry that's redefining safety throughout North America. Lead by example. Show parents you're accredited with Academy Safe.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the My Empty Hands podcast. I am Reggie Darden, and I have Tony Malgiero with me today, and we're gonna just chat about some Kempo and martial arts and whatever else comes along, and just real excited to have you on, and we'll just kind of start with my background a little bit. I started in the '90s, kind of early to mid '90s. Like many Kempo practitioner, a buddy of mine and I saw The Perfect Weapon, and we were just instantly in love, and saw the sign that said Kempo, and I was like, yeah, we got to do that. So found a school, found what at the time was known as a Chinese Kempo school, but it was essentially just the Tracy curriculum, Tracy Kempo curriculum. So started there and trained there for a few years. Almost made it to my third brown when I left for the Army. While I was in the Army, got to do a little bit of Taekwondo, a little bit of Hapkido, and a little bit of boxing, and had fun with that. Once I got out of the military, I could not find a school that suited my needs and where I felt comfortable with. So I just kind of did my own thing for a little bit, and that was when I found my next love, and that was of capoeira. And so I've been doing capoeira for quite a number of years now, and kind of as I was going through going through the garage, I came across my old training manual, my old Kempo training manual, and I was like, oh yeah, I did used to do that stuff. So dug that out, kind of went through just to see what I could still remember, and I was quite surprised that I could, I still had a lot of the techniques and stuff in my brain, and so that re-energized my love for Kempo, and sought out a school. I'm now in the Dallas, Texas area. I'm originally from the Southern California, San Diego area, so found a school out here that suited my needs, and started training, and that's an American Kempo. So had to start over. It was I admit I was a little bummed at the beginning, starting off as a white belt, but I gained so much more knowledge at this school, and the curriculum is quite a bit different than I originally started. We didn't have the terminology and the sayings and the pledges and freestyle and a lot of those things. So yeah, it was good for me to slap that white belt on and start with a good old delayed sword and work my way up. So about a month ago, I got my green belt. So I'm just really happy to do what I'm doing, and now we got the podcast going, and just been having lots of great guests and lots of great conversations. So I'm really excited about that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And we'll see what other things that we get along. But yeah, let's hear your story. How did Kempo find you, and where did it all start for you? And we'll just kind of go through it.
Well, I would say it's probably very similar to yours. I don't remember if it was the perfect weapon that kind of guided me towards Kempo, or if I had already started and then saw the perfect weapon. I can't really remember, but I think I might have been like maybe a yellow belt when I saw the perfect weapon. But I do remember it was a big influence,
So
especially
you had
with
already
I
started
think
Kempo.
I believe I might have already started when I saw the perfect weapon.
Yeah.
If not, then I definitely did start because of the perfect weapon. But I remember I had a friend who had already been going, and I think he had made it to, I think, orange belt when I started, and me and another friend started. So there was three of us, and this is in the same. I want to say I can't remember if I started. I think I really believe I started in 91. Like if I probably look at my like old belt certificates or whatever, it
Mm-hmm.
probably has like dates of like 91 or 92 on there. So I believe it was the early 90s that I started, and I'm pretty sure that the perfect weapon was a big influence on either me starting or me sticking with it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had a friend who had already started. I think he showed us some stuff, and then me and my other friend decided that we were going to do it. And I don't remember if it was like that we watched the perfect weapon together and then said, "Hey, let's do this," or if we had already decided to start and had already started taking classes a little bit and then saw the perfect weapon. You know what I mean? But either
Mm-hmm.
way, and then my story is very similar to yours. I started, I made it up to a certain belt level, I believe, second brown. I had made it to second brown, and then I left and joined the army. So pretty much the same kind of story. I was in the army. I did 20 years. I retired from the army,
Oh, very nice.
and then decided to kind of the same. I'm in Texas. I'm in El Paso, Texas, though. So
Okay, right on.
kind of the Mexico part of Texas. But
Very nice.
yeah, I made it to second brown and left in I want to say like 90. I know I joined the army in 97, but I think I probably stopped training Kempo like either early 97 because I left at the end of summer in 1997. So I think I stopped probably early 1997 or maybe late 1996 to spend more time with family and all those types of things because I knew I was already leaving. I knew I was going to go. That was what I was going to do. But I initially started with boxing when I was 8. So I'm from the East Coast, from Delaware, very close to Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, and a lot of my family boxed. It was like all my cousins either boxed. My grandfather was a professional boxer. All my cousins either boxed or wrestled. So we used to always have interesting get-togethers as young boys. You were either wrestling or throwing punches at each other. But yeah, I boxed for a while. I want to say probably like four-ish years from when I was 8 to probably around like maybe around 12. But I was more into probably starting around like 9. I was more into stuff like baseball and football and all those things. So I wasn't really taking it seriously. And then I think when I was about 14 is when I started doing Kempo. Yeah. And then left, joined the army, and did different things while I was in the army. A I want to say the first probably 7 years that I was in the Army, I was doing, I was competing in boxing events, because I had to do something. And there really was, my first duty station was Germany. So there really wasn't too many options for martial arts for me then. I didn't speak German, so I wasn't going to go find a, martial arts studio somewhere and try to, train with them speaking German to me. And, spent like 3 years there, then left, went back to the States and was there for maybe a year and a half. And then we went to war in Iraq. So that's when everything started kicking off, and it really wasn't time to do much for a while, and then when I deployed a lot in the initial early years of the war. I probably spent about 4 out of 5 years over there, and was just constantly like going back, kept going over there. Like I would go, get back, leave that duty station, go to a new duty station, and they were leaving. So it was like, man, I'm not getting any breaks. And when I came back, the last time when I came back to the States, the last time from Iraq, it was like 2008ish. And in 2004, I was in Fallujah, in the Battle of Fallujah, and there was a lot of I was on tanks, so I didn't have to do it, but there was a lot of infantry guys that we fought on the same front lines together. But there was a lot of infantry guys that ended up having a lot of hand-to-hand combat scenarios. So I remember the Army changed its whole I guess hand-to-hand combat curriculum, and they switched over to what they call the combatives now. So when I got back and I was at Fort Knox, I was a trainer, so I wasn't doing anything. I was the only thing I did was for the basic trainees is I ran the live fire exercise for the tanks. So it was like I was working like a couple days out of every month, really. And the rest of my time was very free. I could do whatever I want. So I was signing up to do these combative courses. So I got certified as Army Combatives level 3 and all that stuff. And so that introduced me into like grappling and stuff, right? Because they do a lot of very basic jujitsu and wrestling and stuff, and Muay Thai and boxing. So I got introduced to that stuff and really enjoyed it. So eventually I left there, and my last duty station was here in El Paso, and I was here for about 8 years. While here, I had a roommate for a little while, and he was into Kung Fu and some other things. And we were messing around in the house one day. He was showing me different Kung Fu things, and everything he was showing me was so similar to Kempo that it just sparked, boom, it just blew up in my mind. Like, I got to get back into Kempo, So I found a Kempo dojo here, and it was like, there was like 3 different ones. And one of them was doing like it was like I guess it's called Traco. So it was like Tracy and Thomas Connor. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
They were doing the Traco system. So it was, I guess, very similar probably to maybe what you had started with. It was very like the old school Kempo stuff. They were doing like they were doing like the Panther set and the Tiger and Crane. And that was stuff I had never done because I started in the Ed Parker system.
Gotcha.
And so I saw that school and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I saw another school, and they were, honestly, to me, they were just Kempo in name. It was more like a Taekwondo school, the way they were running things. And then there was another school. It was called School of American Kempo, and they followed the Ed Parker curriculum, but they did it a little differently. They did like a rotating curriculum. I believe the head instructor was a black belt under Sean Knight and Sean and Rebecca Knight out. And I think they're from Arizona. So I think he got like his third degree under them and then moved down to El Paso from Arizona. And I think he bought out another school. I'm not sure exactly how all that went, but he was here. I trained there for probably 3 or 4 years. I got my black belt under him, a guy named Ron Hickey. And then I started looking more into Paul Mills, because when I had left our school that I was at before I had left for the Army, our school was starting to fall. My instructors, at first they were, I remember they were under like Gilbert Velez and I think a couple other people. I think Ernie George for a little while or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I know that when like the last year or so that I was there, they were starting to they had moved under Paul Mills. Okay. Now Paul Mills hadn't changed anything yet. It was still the IKKA, which was underneath that. It was Ed Parker's organization, the IKKA. But Ed Parker had died in 1990, so he died before I had started. So I never got to meet him or anything like that. But Paul Mills had started they were still in the IKKA. They had started falling under Paul Mills, and then I believe maybe probably right around the same time that I left, I think is when he started his own organization, the AKKI. But I remember we were doing certain things. We were doing these timing patterns and some other things that were it was different. It was different than traditional Ed Parker Kempo. And I remember just seeing Mr. Mills move and just other guys going to just one seminar with him, coming back, and just their movement was different. It was just more, it seemed more explosive. And so I remember that, so that when I was here and I had gotten my black belt, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to keep doing this same exact thing over and over and over again, which is just, the however many 154 techniques or whatever it is. I don't even remember how many it is anymore. I don't, but I don't want to just keep doing that. I want to take my Kempo to what I felt was the next level. So I started contacting, I reached out to my old instructor, even though, and she's, on the East Coast, but she never responded. And I'm like, well, maybe she just doesn't, pay attention, because I reached out to her on social media. So, maybe, she's older, so she probably doesn't, pay as much attention to that stuff as the rest of us do, as us younger guys do. Some, when I say younger, we're still we're getting up there now, but, she didn't reach out, or she didn't respond back. So I reached out to another gentleman in Florida, Rick Brumby, and he had a online catalog of the Paul Mills system, meaning he had a very basic version of the curriculum, the techniques, a video where he kind of explains it, not step by step, but kind of step by step. But it was missing a lot of elements. So it was just basically the very basic version. So one of the things with the Mills system is you might do a technique and you might learn a technique as a white belt or a lower belt. We'll say yellow belt, orange belt, even, you might learn the technique one way, but when you're a black belt, you're not expected to perform it that way anymore. And I don't mean just being better at it. I mean, you're going to change it. You're going to alter it. You're going to do things to it, that are, you're going to add timing. You're going to do different things to the technique that it's going to be kind of the same, but people are going to look at it and kind of recognize it, but they're going to be like, what did you do? You know what I mean? What did you do there? Or that was a little different, but so he was doing everything on the very most basic level. right? So there's a lot of elements that I was missing from it, but at least I learned the basic version of everything as best you can from watching a video, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one day I went home to visit my parents, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and stop at my old school, you know? So I showed up and I was like, hey, look, I've been talking to so-and-so, but it's not the same, as getting stuff from a video isn't the same. And she was like, no, I don't want you ever learning anything from a video. That's not the way you learn how to, that's not the way you learn. I was like, no, you're right. I just, I had that bug. I had that itch. I had to get more,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I had to do it, because there was no access to any Paul Mills around here where, where I'm at. And as of right now, all the Kempo schools have closed, so there
Wow.
are no Kempo schools here now anymore. So I'm thinking
Oh,
about
really?
opening one, but we'll see what happens with that, but, yeah, so that kind of, when he closed down, here, but I, showed up, started talking to her again, and she was like, okay, and I think at first she was like, oh, he's, probably thinking like I'm not serious, or, I don't want to take on someone who's all the way in El Paso or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I think she realized, because I showed up multiple days while I was there. I think she
Mm-hmm.
realized I was serious, and I was jumping into classes, even though I didn't have a gi or anything. I was wearing like black sweatpants and like a black t-shirt, because I hadn't brought, a gi or anything with me.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, when I think she realized I was serious when I left and I came back to El Paso, she sent me a message probably like a month later and said, hey, there's Mr. Mills is having a training camp in Wyoming, in like a month or something. I can't remember exactly how far away it was, but she was like, hey, Mr. Mills is having a training camp in Wyoming on this date. It's going to be, I think it was like 4 or 5 days. She was like, why don't you come out, and we'll get you introduced into the organization, introduced into the system, and you can start, she was like, bring, you're a black belt, wear your black belt. She was like, but you're going to have to learn the whole system and retest for your black belt. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I showed up, it was like 2017. I think I showed up. I met a lot of people, as the whole organization, not the whole organization, but a lot of the organization from all over the country. Met a guy from Australia, the guys from the Jersey Isles, the guys from Ireland, the guys from France, all over the people that came from all over the world that are part of the organization came. They had the first day, I think, was a test. It was belt testing. And then from then on, it was all training, seminars and training, basically. So learned a lot, had a lot of fun. I believe I even met one of your guests, Christy Patagimas.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, so met a lot of people, had a good time, and then started basically and I guess going headfirst into the mill system. And then recently, I want to say, I can't remember exactly when, but not that long ago, I tested for my black belt in that system and got my black belt in that system. So I have, I guess I have a black belt in the Ed Parker system and a black belt in the Paul Mills system. And there's a lot of differences. The Paul Mills system is based off the Ed Parker system, but it's different. But, the crazy thing is that this whole time that I've been doing this, I want to say he closed down, Ron Hickey closed down his Kempo school here in, I believe it was probably 3 years after I started training there. So I want to say he was already closed when I had hooked up with my instructor, Miss Kathy Owen, in Delaware. He had already been closed, I think, almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he closed around 2016 or no, he closed. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, the end of 2016, he closed. I think it was like October 2016. So I started looking for something else to do while I was here, and I started looking for jiu-jitsu. So I'd already done the Army combatives, which has a lot of, you do a lot of grappling and stuff. And I was like, well, I want to do it, more, because you're getting a very fundamental lesson when you're there. It's a very basic understanding of it, even no matter what level you do. It's never the same. You know what I mean? I guess I would call it like if like someone would learn in Kempo, but all they were learning was the kicks and punches. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing. So I kept looking and looking and looking. And here in El Paso, it's like 100 degrees like every day. So I did not want to wear a gi. Right. So I started looking for no gi schools. And the only one that I could find was called 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Right. So 10th Planet. And so they do no gi. We don't never wear a gi. It's just like a rash guard and shorts. Okay, Papa. And started going there 2017 and just have been doing it ever since. Now I'm an instructor there. I teach on Wednesdays and Fridays. I wanted to do it because I wanted something more than just the traditional stand-up. I looked into like Kempo 5.0, but I realized that, in my opinion, I think it's a great like introduction. You know what I mean, to like MMA type concepts or ground fighting concepts. I think it's a great introduction, and it throws a little bit of Kempo into the ground fighting, which is awesome. And I really like what they're doing, and I like what I really like about what they do is their sparring. Have you seen how they spar and how they compete? The 5-0 fighter.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit. I've seen a few videos. Actually, one of the guests that I spoke with, he just very semi recently switched over to the Kempo 5.0 system.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try and make my way out to his school and get some get a little bit more in depth with that. It's always kind of intrigued me. So
yeah,
I have kind of a little bit of understanding about it.
It intrigued me a lot too, and I started going out to a place in Albuquerque. I went and visited a place in Albuquerque a couple times, but it just looked like, to me, it looked like good Kempo, but bad jujitsu, if that makes sense. And not bad as in like, it's not any good. It was just like, it was
very, to me, surface level,
it's more of like an introductory level, very beginner level, basically, which is good, especially if you've never done any of it before, and I think what they're doing is great because, honestly, most of the guys who train the 5.0 system, most of them, the ones that have the time anyway. I know how you've been saying you wish there were 40 hours in a week. I think we all do, or 40 hours in a day. Sorry, but yeah, I think we all do because we would all love to be able to train more. But I think most of those guys, they go to their Kempo classes and they also go to jiu-jitsu classes. So that is, I think, a good thing for them. But I was like, hey, you know what? I already have Kempo. I have good Kempo. I have the Kempo that I prefer, which is the Mills version. And I just, I want jiu-jitsu too. So I want to be able to fight on the ground too. So, yeah, so I figure that the best thing and like I said, that's what most of the guys in the 5.0 system do anyway, is they train both. I think the best thing to do is to train both. One is a striking art. One is a grappling art. and striking and grappling is fighting and self-defense. So if you mix the two, you'll be just fine. However you're going to mix it, I think if you're going to do 5-0 because that's what you have time to do, then do it. If that's what you like to do. I think the best thing is whatever people like to do. It's like the best form of exercise is whatever people will actually stick with. If someone doesn't like to lift weights, they're not going to lift weights. It's not going to be good exercise for them. If they like to run, that's what they're going to do, and that's what they're going to stick with, and that's what they should do. And I think martial arts is the same way. You got to find what you really like, what you're going to stick with, and train hard. That's the only thing that I think anybody should do is just train hard. But yeah, I just got into jiu-jitsu, and now I'm instructing and of course training and competing and going all over the country, competing and visiting different schools and stuff. And it's a lot of fun, so it's like I have two families. I have my jiu-jitsu family and my Kempo family, and three families because I have my own family,
Yeah.
But yeah, one day I hope to soon, within the next couple of years, probably open my own Kempo school here, because you don't have it. It's not here anymore.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. I'm sort of in the similar situation with my capoeira, in that the organization that I'm part of, they don't have any of those schools here, and so I've been trying to kind of trying to get it off the ground here, but that's it's a whole another long story.
It's hard to generate interest, right?
Yeah, it's difficult to get started, but
yeah.
So yeah, I can relate to that. So you do go down the path of starting your own school. Are you going to kind of keep the art separate, or are you looking to maybe do kind of a fusion, or
yeah, probably a fusion. I think the way I see it is you have to have a solid base. You have to have a super like solid base. And what I mean by that is like whether that's the kicking and punching from Kempo or the kicking and punching from kickboxing. It really doesn't matter. As long as you have a good solid base, I think I think you can go from there, and so I kind of want to have like a base program that is kind of, I don't want to say like, MMA light, because I don't like to do anything light, or, I always like to go hard when I train. It's just always been ingrained in me to, I guess ever since boxing days and football days and all that stuff, you got train how you fight kind of thing. How it was in the Army, train how you fight. So I would want to have kind of like a base program, and then have another program that people can, like, if they want the more in-depth thing, they can do that too. But it probably be more like, striking classes and grappling classes, and just go from there. Because I do it all. I at least once a week I go and join the MMA sparring classes to get the full contact, full fight scenario, I guess you could say. I train jiu-jitsu 5 days a week. I train striking, Kempo 5 days, 5-6 days a week. And we do wrestling and boxing and kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. So there's, we even do judo sometimes. So, we have judo, it's whatever however you can get someone to the ground, whether it's judo or wrestling, we'll use it. and then however you can submit someone, which is the submissions from, jiu-jitsu, we'll use them, and whatever striking works, we'll use them, kicks,
Mm-hmm.
punches, elbows, chops, hammer fists, whatever's going to work is what you should do, in my opinion, anyway. And
Gotcha.
that's what I would want to do. Have like I've thought about how I would want to do like a Kempo program, kind of separate, where it would
Mm-hmm.
be, but to me, it would be more of self-defense. And then, okay, this is your, this is your fighting side. And then here's your self-defense side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the self-defense side would be very heavily influenced by Kempo.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But yeah,
So,
I would probably, streamline the curriculum a little bit, but not too much. I think that I know the Mills system is already streamlined from the Parker system. Like the Parker system, you have 8 forms, maybe more than, I think it's 10 forms, right? If you got short 1, long 1, short 2, long 2, short 3, long 3, that's 6 right there. And then you got 4, 5, and 6. And then you also have 7 and 8. So that's 11 forms, countless sets. I couldn't even count all the sets right now. And 154 techniques, not including the 96 or something like that extensions. I believe it's 96. Yeah. No, something like that. Either way, that's a lot. To me, that's a lot. So the mill system, we have basically four sets. And there's only one that's an individual set. They're basically drills. They're all 2-man drills, like partner drills.
okay.
The only one that we do that's not is finger set. We still do finger set, but we don't do stance set, blocking set. That's part of our form now, and we only have 3 forms, form 1, 2, and 3. There is an advanced version of form 2 and 3. So you learn the base form, and then when you're a black belt, you kind of, you expand upon it a little. And then we have a knife and club curriculum, which is very similar to like Kali or Eskrima, whatever you want, Arnis, whatever people like to call it.
Gotcha.
Slightly different names, whatever, different.
Filipino martial arts.
Yeah, FMA. Let's just call it. Yeah, Filipino martial arts. Yeah, and we only have 100. I think it's 102 techniques, and so we have a couple ground techniques. There's a couple techniques that we do that are on the ground, but I would probably streamline it even further, probably down to 80. And I probably wouldn't even do the sets. I would just do the sets as drills, if that would make sense, because the sets are really just drills. You just do it in a formal fashion. You do the opening salutation, the closing salutation at the end of it, and you follow the step by step of the drill. But you can make those. You can take all that stuff from the set and make drills to where it's it promotes spontaneous reaction. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so I and then of course I don't personally like to do forms, but I see the value in them. I think it helps refine your movement. It helps make you pay attention to things like your stances and your stance changes and your angles and all those types of things. And I think that's good. So I do see the value in them, and I would not take them away, but I wouldn't want to do 1,000, or 11 forms anymore. No, I wouldn't want to do that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's lots of folks that agree with you on that or feel the same way. I like to do forms just because I don't know, that's what I like, but
we all like different things, and there's value in it. There's real value in it. I think it really does refine your movement. I think it really does.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, some people call it like shadow boxing, and yes, it's not shadow boxing because there's very distinct differences between the two, but shadow boxing helps you refine your technique, and that's what a form does. It helps you refine your technique. It helps you execute your punches and kicks with the proper angles. It helps you have good balance. It helps you, you know what I mean, all those things. Helps you move correctly, on your feet and everything. So I think that's what a form does too.
Gotcha.
I think the
Gotcha.
benefits are very similar, even though the actions aren't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So I
Gotcha.
would not take those out.
Right on. Right on. Um, so I'm curious. I see what looks like medals behind you there. Are those?
Oh, this is my wall. So up there are my
Yep.
Kempo belts, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you, yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
This is the actual curriculum for the Paul Mill system, and
Okay.
then these are my jujitsu belts.
Oh, okay.
So blue, purple, brown, and these are the medals that I've won in competitions at those belt levels.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then over there is my wife's.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
So just kind of jumping back to your Kimpo history. Did you do any competing or anything?
I did. Yeah. So all my competitions were as a teenager. So I can't remember. Most of it was in the teen divisions, but I think later on I started having to compete against adults. I think when I was a brown belt, maybe. But yeah, I remember I did the points fightings and the tournaments and the points fighting, the self defense divisions, the forms divisions.
Mm-hmm.
I never did any weapons divisions. Yeah, but I did all those different divisions. But what I found, like honestly, I felt like most of those places, Kempo was at a disadvantage for the forms. Mainly because like if you weren't like yelling and kiing and giving that hard like with your punches and your kicks or whatever, then you weren't going to win. And I just did my forms the way we practiced them in the studio. I wasn't doing we don't really do ki eyes and all those kinds of things in Kempo. It's more of just a breathing thing for us anyway. That's how I grew up doing it. I don't know if did you do a lot of ki eyes in your forms in Kempo when you're
No, not so much. I mean, we did, when we're doing floor exercises and stuff, but no, I can relate to the tournament thing. I
yeah
was only in just a handful of tournaments. I went to a lot of them, but I only competed in a handful of them, and it was just in sparring.
yeah
I never did the forums. I may one of these days try
I
it
think I got
just to
second
do it.
place in every single form I've ever second place in every single tournament I've ever entered. It's like
But,
always get a silver.
hey, that's better than me. I just get disqualified. So,
Oh no.
Well, a lot of the things it's like a lot of times they don't allow like the head contact or the face contact, and it's like, oh well, like we're used to
That's
the old
that's
California
the
Blitz, as we like to call it, and that seems to get us
that's
disqualified
the
a lot.
yeah that's the realism element that I feel is lacking from point sparring. Did you see that? Have you ever seen the karate in the Olympics? You see the one guy got the gold medal because he got knocked out.
Yeah. Well, I heard about it. I don't think I saw the match, but I've seen some of the
I
matches.
think he got kicked in the face and
and
got knocked out. So the other guy who knocked him out got disqualified. So he got the gold medal. Like,
yeah,
so you can get a gold medal by losing, basically.
there's definitely. I think there's definitely a need to refine the rules for the Olympic karate, Olympic taekwondo,
So
and all of that.
we have several professional MMA fighters at the gym that I train at, and one of them who's very very good has started doing a lot of point fighting in his training,
Mm-hmm.
because there is value in point fighting. Like I still like to do that sometimes. I don't think it's healthy to do as your only form of sparring, because I think
Mm-hmm.
you get a false sense of security when you do things like that, when you train in only a certain way.
Yeah.
But man, does it really teach you how to hit and not get hit?
Yeah.
And I think that's super
Movement and
valuable. That's super valuable. But you learn how to control the distance. You learn how to close the distance, and you learn how to hit and not get hit, because that's the whole idea of it. It's a game of tag, really. But
mm-hmm.
if you can
Yeah.
play tag, and also learn how to land your shots with power, I think that's a great way to go about things. Hit and
Mm-hmm.
not get hit.
Yeah. No, to paraphrase Mr. Miyagi, best defense is no be there. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
gotta move around. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can,
And then the thing that I guess full contact or semi full contact, however you want to do it, it teaches you is to how to get hit and still stay in the fight. I think if you do too much point fighting, that when you get hit, it'll be a surprise and you won't know how to react. And then if you do too much full contact fighting, I think you'll think that it's okay to get hit.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes it's okay to get hit, but no, it's really not okay to be getting hit. So I
Yeah,
think a good mix
exactly.
of the two is what's best, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, you got to cross train and prepare for all kinds of different scenarios, and you know there's no such thing as too much training, or every little aspect that you can get
Yeah,
involved with, I think is important and helpful. And if there was no value in something, then people wouldn't continue to
yeah,
teach
for
it.
sure,
So
for sure.
yeah, I think it's important to be exposed to all sorts of different things and styles and techniques, and just have you know why limit your toolbox. So
Exactly.
yeah, definitely have access to all that you can. So
Yeah.
yeah. So let's hit our lightning round here,
Okay.
as we get close to our close here. So I got a few little questions here to throw at you. First one being, do you have a favorite technique?
um, that's a tough one. So we do a technique that's called rising guillotine. That might be my favorite. I don't. I'm trying to think of a similar Parker technique, but there really isn't one. But yeah, that would probably be it. It's just a
Right.
technique against a left hook punch, and
Okay.
you kind of start out like you would, I guess, opposite side, because your left foot is forward, right? So calming the storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
How
Yes.
you step in with the block and the punch. It starts out that way, but it's left side forward. So you're throwing a left punch and a right block instead of a left block and a right punch. It
Gotcha.
starts out that way, but then the rest of it is not. I don't even know
Okay.
how to,
Well,
you know.
that's okay. It looks, the listeners and I have some homework to do. So that's good. I like it. Do you have a favorite form and or set?
Favorite form would probably be form 3. It's based off of, I guess, short and long 3. Short 3 is you do the specific techniques on, you do the one side. Long 3, you do both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But there's techniques that are in long 3 that aren't in short 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the form 3 that we do is like a hybrid version of that, I guess you could say. It's got more techniques than just short 3,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all done on the one side. You don't do both
Okay.
sides of it. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Gotcha.
And then of course it's more, like if the technique is, if the variation of the technique, so the technique, I believe it's called fatal cross.
Hmm.
Do you know that
Yeah, that
technique?
sounds familiar.
It's like a low push or something, and
Hmm.
it's in the form 3 like that,
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so like that's not a technique that we do, so that's not in our form 3, but there are techniques that are in our form 3 that we don't do, that are
Hmm.
in the that are like Parker throwbacks, like I think this is it destructive twins is that the first technique in form 3, short form 3.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do that, even though that's
Hmm.
not one of the techniques that we do. Striking serpent's head isn't
Hmm.
one of the techniques that we do, but we do that in the form.
Okay.
So a lot of it is that's kind of our form that is, um, well, they're all very similar to the Parker forms. We only do form 1, 2, and 3. There's no short or long version of any of it.
Okay.
So they're kind of like blended versions of both, if that makes sense. But I like form
Yeah.
3.
Okay.
It's
Very
shorter.
nice.
Form 2 is so long and it's so tiring, that I don't like doing that one. I just like doing form 3 because it's short and sweet, I guess you could say.
Gotcha. I like it. I like
And
it.
sets, oh man. So like I said, we don't do any of the Parker sets. We do finger set, which is a Parker set, but it's slightly different, not very much
Hmm.
different. And then we have a set called Universal Set. So the Huba drill from FMA, from Filipino martial arts.
Hmm. Yes.
The Huba Lubu drill. That's what that set is basically. It's just
Okay.
a Huba Lubu drill against 4 different attacks. So you have 4 different zones or whatever. It's like a
Okay.
zoning thing. Um, and then we have a centerline set, which is, I guess the best way to say it, you have your center line, and then you have the center line that we're attached to if we're fighting each other.
Hmm.
And it's teaching you to dominate the center line or to move off the center line. That's what that set is. It's just a 2-person set that you do in that fashion. Then we have a trapping set, which, so it's like, we do trapping like in Wing Chun or Jeet Kune Do or whatever.
Okay.
Those are we have offensive techniques. We don't do the freestyle techniques. We actually have offensive techniques at our brown belt level. And it's, so like B1A is one of the techniques is very similar to B1A.
Okay.
It's obviously
Hmm.
it's longer than just the B1A. It's like,
Yeah.
it's more to it than that, but that's the start of the technique. But that initial grab we would call a trap, you
Okay.
know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So you have grabbing traps and pinning traps, pushing and pulling, I guess you could say, however you want to, phrase it, the pak sao, lap sao, in that they call it in Wing Chun or whatever.
Hmm.
But we have so that is one set. And my favorite, honestly, out of all those to do is the center line set. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like
Very.
you're doing calming the storm against a bunch of different attacks, basically.
Okay. Very. Very cool. I'll have to check that out. So, um, very nice. So, if there was anyone that you could train with, living or dead, fictional or non-fictional,
Oh wow.
who would that be?
So obviously, of course, Mr. Parker, right? That would have to be number
Hmm.
one. Um, 2, Mr. Mills. I miss Mr. Mills. He passed away. 3. These are all people who have passed. I'm gonna start with people who have passed
No,
away. All right. So
whoever you
obviously,
like.
everyone's got to train. Everyone has to want to train with Bruce Lee, right? Don't we all? Wouldn't we all love to train with Bruce Lee? And then another one that a lot of people, I don't even know if, I think a lot of old school people know who this is, but Judo Gene LaBelle. You ever heard of Judo Gene
Ah,
LaBelle?
yes,
Yeah, I
very
would
familiar
love to
with
train with
Judo
Judo
Gene.
Gene LaBelle. Yeah, I would love to train with him. And probably Muhammad Ali. How cool would that
Oh,
be?
yes.
You know?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely.
Living, man, there's a lot of guys. I don't, everyone on everyone that does Kempo now, I want to train with, everyone that does jujitsu, I want to train with. I just want to train with everyone. I want to come out there to Dallas and train with you guys.
Yeah.
It's not that far.
Welcome anytime.
Sure.
Welcome anytime. All right, very nice. All right. So the final question, and this is the hardest of them all. In honor of Mr. Parker's love of jokes and humor, do you have a joke and or a funny story to share with us?
I don't know that I have. No, I don't. I can't think of any jokes, and I don't know that they would be appropriate anyway.
That's perfectly fine.
I'm more of I kind of like humor, like Dave Chappelle and
Gotcha.
Those kind of guys. So yeah,
gotcha. To save it for the Kempo After Dark podcast.
That's is that a podcast?
No,
you got to do that one.
Not
Make
yet.
that one now.
Maybe when they add 50 hours to a day, then I'll have room for that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah. So now is the point for shameless self-promotion. I always mess that up. So now is your chance to, if there's anything else that you wanted to bring up that we have not chatted about.
Anyone that ever wants to come to El Paso, they're more than welcome to come and train. They can train it with me in my garage. They can come train at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu El Paso. I have a key and we can go there anytime. It's a very large mat space. So anyone that ever wants to come to El Paso is more than welcome to come and train. That's all I got to say.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'll have to look you up. I got some Capoeira buddies out there, and actually we have, or they have events every year. So yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I will actually probably be out there probably in early part of next year or so. So yeah, we'll definitely have to connect up
for sure.
Well, yeah, no, I thank you so much again for
thanks
sharing,
for doing
sharing
this,
your
man.
story
Thanks
with
for starting this podcast up. It's been awesome. Like I really enjoy your episode with Rob from McDojo Life too.
Yeah,
that was another good one, man.
Was great to have him on, and I'm just really excited about how this has been going, and I'm really excited to have to hold myself back because there's just a lot of people that I've been chatting with, and it's like I want to release them all, but I can't release 50 episodes in one day.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't say can't. I shouldn't release 50 episodes in one day. So yeah, just spacing them out. But yeah, I'm really excited for everyone that I have talked to at this point, and everyone that is on the schedule to talk to. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting those out soon, and for everyone to hear them, and we'll just keep the train moving. So yeah, thank you. I will be in touch when this is ready to go out. And
all right.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Ciao.